Welcome to Send Surrey's webinar on working documents. A working document, or WD, is an important part of a contents appeal, so sections B, which is needs, and F, which is provision. A working document is sent to you by the local authority about 6 weeks after your appeal is registered. The letter with the key date is normally saved as something like this example. HD is the hearing date, EH is your hearing number, then it'll have your child's full name, their date of birth, and then the words new registration parent. So this is an example of the key dates box. You will find this near the end of the registration letter. It's important to take a note of all of the dates and the fact that they aren't in order. Also that the deadline is 12 o'clock noon. This is the box with the date by when the LA will send you the working document. The electronic copy of the EHC plan is the working document. It's a Word version of the EHCP with just sections B and F, but may include section I, which is placement. If you don't have access to the internet, you need to ask for a copy to be posted to you, but obviously this is going to be very time consuming. The idea is that both parties amend this document in the run-up to the hearing. It will go back and forth between yourselves and the local authority. If you don't get the working document by the key date, you should email the LA send.appeals@surreycc.gov.uk, as well as Sendist, where the judges are, which is send@justice.gov.uk. First thing to do when you get the working document is to carry out a check on the EHCP. This means you're checking all the needs and all of the provision that are in the report and assessments listed in section K are included in the plan. You may have already done this, which is great, but if not, please watch our webinar on how to check a draft EHCP. Any changes you wish to make should be evidenced within reports. This is a table that shows how to amend. As you can see, you will add all your changes in bold. Anything you want removed needs to be highlighted, turned into bold, and have strike through. So adding, anything you want added will be in bold using this B dark colour here, and anything you want removed, or you asking the LA if they're happy if it's removed, will be in bold and struck through. So it's AB with this line through it. Please remember that to use black type and Arial size 12. So adding information for the LA to consider. If there's some information that you feel is missing from the EHCP, then you will need to, each change must be clearly referenced. So you do this by adding a footnote at the bottom of the page. So you click to the end of the section you've just copied over into the working document, go to references, insert footnote, and the cursor will jump to the bottom of the page. So you would then type your footnote. So this is an example. So Smith is the surname, the OT is the type of report, so occupational therapist. This is then the date that it was actually written on. Page 3 is where the information was found on page 3, and then paragraph 6 that it's found within paragraph 6. Please remember to highlight the footnotes and then change the font to Arial size 12. So this is an example of a footnote. This is an example of where the number would sit at the end of the information you've just added. And then this is an example of the footnotes. As you can see, we've already added 8 others, and we've just added the 9th, Smith, OT, the date, page 3, paragraph 6. If you have private assessment, then the LA Tribunal officer will seek advice from the LA's professional, so from an OT or speech and language therapist, around the contents and seek their professional views on the recommendations in the private report. Once you've added all the changes you want, you need to save the document and send to the LA at this email address. You may know your tribunal officer's name and email address by this point, but so you can send it to them, but also use this generic email address so you know that it reaches them. Saving the working document. Each time you update the working document, you need to first update the front page. So example, this is what you received, name, working document for your appeal number, and then version 1, and the LA sent it to yourselves on this date. So when you send it back, you need to type in at the bottom V2, version 2, parents to LA, and then the date you sent it back to the local authority. Then save the document itself by saving your amended version as the next version, which you've linked with the front page that you've just updated. So you would have received working document version 1, LA to parents on the 26th of the 5th, 2020, and you're sending back working document version 2, parents to LA, and then you put the date. You also need to save it as a Word document. So this will appear at the top of the working document itself. As you can see, you're now on the 5th version, and the LA have just sent to you the 5th version. So in this example, you saved version 2 and version 4. The LA will then read your changes in bold, and those changes in bold and strike through, and decide whether they agree with them to be included or to be removed. They will then take off the bold and put it in normal text and underline. Or they will come back to you and say they don't agree, which will mean they stay in bold and strike through. If the LA want to remove a section, they will put it in italic type and strike it through. And if the LA propose additional changes to yours, they will put it in italics. So if you agree to LA's italics, you change the section into normal writing and underline it. If the LA have put it in italics and they wanted to remove, and you're happy for it to be removed, you would put it into normal type and underline it, removing the italics. Send this to the judges. Ask that you do not use embedded comments within a text or track changes. They go on to say that if you wish to make comments, then you should do this in the footnotes. But you may say that the LA's tribunal officer add comments to your working document, but these should be removed by the local authority before the working document goes to Sendist. This is basically done to make things easier. All the footnotes will be removed from the final amended EHCP. All changes need to be carried out prior to the final evidence date that's on your key dates list. The LA should reply to you with their thoughts on your version of the working document and any updates they wish to make within 5 working days of you sending it. We hope you found this useful, and good luck.